depth of New Edition became deeper when Bobby left the group. You know, like, not only was it Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike, and then on Candy Girl, we're saying each other's names, but when he left the group.
Apparently, Bobby Brown, being Bobby Brown, I guess went too long on some of his songs, the way he usually does.
It was brutal.
And Ronnie DeVoe, I guess, tried to pull him off the stage.
Yeah, it was
Bobby Brown.
At 57, Ronnie DeVoe is opening up with some surprising revelations about New Edition and all those wild Bobby Brown rumors, and it's stirring things up.
Our brotherhood and us coming full circle, and this group and our brotherhood has come full circle. In our 40 years, we have had some trials, some ups and downs. We've had some battles.
For a while now, people have been curious about what really went down with the group. There's been talk about Bobby getting voted out for going off track.
I always said to myself that, you know, maybe as brothers we should have probably said something to him, maybe gave him some brother help, because whatever he was doing, it was working against us.
The group dealing with contract problems right from the start, and even some members battling with issues.
Industry, we signed contracts that were supposed to be protected by the courts, right? Like, they were supposed to set trust fund money aside, right? Do you think we received?
There seems to be more to all of this, but how deeply could it go? Let's unwrap.
He was in a place where it was no secret. Everybody knew Bob was using.
Yeah,
and
he had
it was just, he was not in a very good space and place.
The New Edition kicked off with Bobby Brown, Ricky Bell, and Michael Bivins, 3 kids from Boston who loved singing together. They were childhood friends who used their voices to make a little money while still in elementary school. What started as a fun hustle turned serious when they decided to form a group. To round it out, they brought in Ralph Tresvant and Ronnie DeVoe, and that's how New Edition was born.
So originally the group was 3 people. It was you, Bobby Brown, and Michael Bivins.
Actually, yeah, you know what? We were the 3 that came up with the idea. Then I introduced them to Ralph.
Right.
And so once we became a group, it was actually the 4 of us together.
The boys worked hard, singing anywhere they could get a chance, and their talent started turning heads. They jumped into local talent shows, including the big one, Hollywood Talent Night. They didn't win first place, but their performance of the Jackson 5's The Love You Save stuck with everyone in the crowd. One of those people was music producer Maurice Starr, who was so blown away that he called them into his studio the very next day. That studio visit changed everything. The boys recorded their first album, and in February 1983, they dropped their debut single, Candy Girl. At first, no one knew who they were, but the track exploded. It hit #1 on the R&B charts and even landed on the Billboard Hot 100. Suddenly, people everywhere were singing along, and Candy Girl officially made New Edition stars. Later that year, they released their first full album, also called Candy Girl. With Maurice Starr and Arthur Baker helping out, the project delivered 8 tracks packed with youthful energy. Songs like Should Have Never Told Me, Jealous Girl, and She Gives Me a Bang stood out, while Is This the End and Popcorn Love became chart-topping R&B hits. The album itself climbed the charts, reaching number 44 on Billboard's Black LPs list and earning a spot as a top Black album pick. Critics loved it, and so did the fans. To keep the momentum going, New Edition hit the road for their first major tour, all while still just 13 to 15 years old. When the tour was over, reality hit hard. Each member came home with a check for only $1.87. They were told that tour expenses ate up most of the profits. The group was crushed and angry. By 1984, they decided to cut ties with Maurice Starr. Starr didn't waste time. He put together another group, New Kids on the Block. which was basically New Edition's style but with white teenagers. Meanwhile, New Edition fought back. With the help of a law firm, they got out of their contract with Star and signed a new deal with MCA Records. Under new management, Stephen Machat, Rick Smith, and Bill Dern, the group's career took off even bigger. They started breaking into both R&B and pop scenes, reaching a wider audience than ever before. After their first big success, New Edition came back strong with their second album, New Edition, which was released in 1984 through a production company called Jump and Shoot. This album was massive. It went double platinum and gave them two huge hits, Cool It Now and Mr. Telephone Man. Selling over 2 million copies, it did even better than their debut, which was a huge win for the group after all they had been through.
I told her something must be wrong with my phone, 'cause my baby was...
But even with all that success, another big challenge was waiting for them. While promoting the album, the group learned something shocking. They weren't actually signed directly with MCA Records like they thought. Instead, their deal was with Jump and Shoot, who then worked with MCA. This meant that the production company was in charge of all the business decisions, and New Edition had little control. To break free, each member had to borrow $100,000 from MCA. That loan got them out of their old contract and into a direct deal with MCA, but it also left them with a heavy debt, so they had to keep touring and recording just to pay it back. In 1985, they dropped their third album, All for Love. It didn't hit the same numbers as their second project, but it still sold 1 million copies and gave fans singles like Count Me Out, A Little Bit of Love Is All It Takes, and With You All the Way. Even with all the ups and downs, New Edition kept pushing and slowly built their way into even bigger success. By 1986, Bobby Brown's time with the group came to an end, though the problems started way before then. Bobby wasn't happy with New Edition's squeaky clean, teen-friendly image. He wanted to show off his own style, which was more mature, bold, and grown. That clashed with the group's wholesome vibe. Things only got messier from there. Bobby began doing his own thing on stage, adding more adult moves during performances, skipping shows, and even smoking weed openly.
Bob would show up late, would show up loaded, or would just not show up. Arguments every night.
At one point in 1985, he threw a mic that almost hit Michael Bivins during a performance. The tension was building fast.
And then I get home, and at the time, like we had business managers. They would like pay our bills for us when we're on the road, and we get home.
Bobby himself admitted later, "I was tired of the teeny bop thing. I wanted to grow as a performer and as a man. I felt they didn't want me to do anything." Ralph Tresvant also shared how Bobby started skipping major appearances like Soul Train and Solid Gold. These were huge for the group, but Bobby seemed uninterested. It was becoming obvious that Bobby and the rest of New Edition were no longer on the same page.
Also, so in certain occasions, I would not show up at all, or show up late and go out there, do what I do, and not care about what anybody else thought.
Eventually, Bobby made the big decision. He left New Edition to go solo. While losing him was a big hit to the group, they kept moving forward. Around that time, they were still promoting All for Love as a 4-member group. Money issues and disagreements were still there, but they stayed successful and continued to shine. One standout moment was when New Edition guest starred on the hit TV show Knight Rider, performing Count Me Out in the episode Night Song. They also recorded a beautiful cover of the 1954 classic Earth Angel for the Karate Kid Part 2 soundtrack.
Just a fool.
That cover hit number 21 on the charts and sparked the idea to create a full album of doo-wop covers. That idea turned into Under the Blue Moon, another highlight in their career. Still, the future of New Edition seemed uncertain. With Bobby gone, rumors started that Ralph Tresvant, the group's lead singer, was also thinking about going solo. To prepare, the group added a new member in 1987, Johnny Gill, a powerhouse vocalist from Washington, D.C., and the only member not from Boston. But in the end, Ralph decided to stay, which meant New Edition now had 5 members instead of 4.
This is the first album in 8 years. And this actually has all 6 members.
Yeah.
So Bobby Brown came back into the fold again.
Yeah.
Was that by design, by accident?
It was by design.
In 1988, New Edition dropped their 5th studio album, Heartbreak, and it completely changed their sound. Instead of the sweet bubblegum tracks they were known for, this album had a deeper, more grown-up vibe. With powerhouse producers Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis behind the boards, the group leveled up in a big way. The album was a smash, going double platinum in the US and delivering 5 hit singles. If It Isn't Love, You're Not My Kind of Girl, Can You Stand the Rain, Crucial, and N.E. Heartbreak. Fans loved this new style, and it made New Edition bigger than ever.
Everybody sing it for me, yeah.
The success of Heartbreak led to a huge concert tour later that year. New Edition headlined, but the openers were just as exciting. Bobby Brown, who was killing it as a solo star, and Al B. Sure joined the lineup. Packed crowds showed up to see them all, making it one of New Edition's most legendary tours.
Regardless, the fans loved it.
Yeah.
It was a huge album.
Yeah.
And to celebrate the album, there was a big reunion tour.
Yeah.
By 1997, the group decided to reunite for the Home Again tour after nearly a decade apart. Fans were hyped, but behind the scenes, things were messy. Old drama and bad blood came back, and it was clear from the start that not everyone was getting along. The breaking point came during a show in Las Cruces, New Mexico. Bobby Brown's solo set ran too long, and Ronnie DeVoe tried to pull him off stage. That move sparked a full-on fight between Bobby and Michael Bivins. Bobby dropped his mic, fists started flying, and it got so out of control that security had to break it up. Then things escalated even more. Gunshots went off, forcing the concert to shut down completely.
All 6 members, everyone's excited. You're going on this huge tour, and then things go bad. Apparently, Bobby Brown, being Bobby Brown, I guess went too long on some of his songs, the way he usually does.
It was brutal.
And Ronnie DeVoe, I guess, tried to pull him off the stage.
Yeah, it was
Bobby Brown. Yeah, because after the fist fight broke out, the security started to get involved and gunshots went off, right?
Yeah, gunshots.
No one got hit, right?
Oh, nobody got hit, but all I heard, gun, and all you had to tell me.
You know, doing the Home Again tour, but missing them again. Like I said, missing them just made me just say, let's go, let's do it. Boy, that was the tour from hell.
After that night, Bobby and Bivins left the tour early, while Ronnie, Ricky Bell, Johnny Gill, and Ralph Tresvant finished the shows as a 4-man group.
Because of that, Michael Bivins and Bobby Brown left the tour.
Yeah.
Which left Ricky Bell, Ralph Tresvant, and Ronnie DeVoe to basically finish off the tour as a quartet.
Yeah.
Later, Bobby admitted he had been drinking during the tour, which only made the situation worse. The fighting drove the group apart, and not long after, everyone went their own way again. What was supposed to be a big reunion ended up reminding fans just how complicated New Edition's bond really was. After Home Again, it looked like the group might never come back together. It took years, but in 2011, the group reunited for the Essence Music Festival. Then, in 2014, they all came together again for a full tour. Sadly, Bobby had to drop out of some shows after the passing of his ex-wife, Whitney Houston. Later, he had to step away again when he was seen struggling to keep up with the group's dance routines. His team explained that he had just undergone a medical procedure and needed time to recover. Bobby told fans, "I apologize to the fans of New Edition. I really wanted to be with my brothers, but right now I can't give the fans what they expect from us." Still, Bobby came back once more for the Culture Tour in 2022. Reflecting on his journey, he told E.T., "I've been through a lot in the past, and just being able to get through it and love what I love, entertainment, again, it's something special." Johnny Gill also praised Bobby's growth, saying, "Just seeing him in rehearsal and how much he's grown. It's moving. The fans are really going to feel it." It wasn't just Bobby who battled demons. Ricky Bell also went through a serious struggle with addiction. But unlike Bobby, he kept it private for years. Fans didn't find out until 2017 when BET's The New Edition story aired. The docuseries revealed that Ricky's drug use started back in the mid-90s while the group was working on the Home Again album.
When did your use start to happen?
After the Home Again,
Okay.
after that run.
When you guys reunited?
Exactly, when we reunited. I was just experiencing a level of anxiety.
Before that, Ricky had dabbled in marijuana and other substances. But things got worse after he met his now wife, Amy Correa. Amy introduced him to, and later, a dealer handed him a free bag of cocaine. That moment marked the start of a dangerous downward spiral for Ricky, one that fans had no clue about until decades later.
One day we decided to do.
I decided to do.
Amy wanted to try it, so Amy tried it, and she loved it.
He liked the reaction I had. Try it. He wanted to feel good like I was feeling good.
Yeah, and so I tried it. That was actually the first I tried.
The dealer, he gave us some free one time just to try. And we had it for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of the days when we were high, just like, want to try it.
Yeah.
And that just ended up being his.
Ricky eventually found himself hooked on oxycodone and alcohol. The addiction took over everything. His finances crashed. The habit got so expensive that he even lost his home. And he ended up selling nearly all his belongings just to keep using. His lowest moment came one night when his wife, Amy, found him passed out in the bathroom after an overdose. It was a scary close call, and while they kept it private at the time, it made Ricky realize he couldn't keep living that way. He decided to get help and went into rehab. Today, Ricky is sober and living a much better life with Amy, his wife of almost 15 years. He later shared his story openly to inspire others who might be going through the same struggles. On social media, he wrote, "I shared my closely guarded story of pain and addiction for the sole purpose of gifting hope and inspiration to those who may be suffering as I once did. It is my helping hand to you. Grab a hold and don't let it go, because I won't. With every fiber of gratitude in me, I thank you. God bless us all." For Ricky, had once pulled him into a dark place and made him into someone he didn't recognize. But choosing recovery gave him a chance to start over. The legendary group that had once stood as a symbol of unity and brotherhood eventually found themselves torn apart by a big disagreement. The drama started right after their hit BET miniseries. The New Edition story aired and reminded the world just how iconic they were. Off camera, though, trouble was brewing. Johnny Gill and Ralph Tresvant discovered that nobody had ever officially trademarked the name New Edition. Wanting to secure the group's brand, they went ahead and trademarked it themselves. But that move didn't sit well with the others: Ricky Bell, Michael Bivins, Bobby Brown, and Ronnie DeVoe. They felt blindsided, like Johnny and Ralph had made a decision behind their backs. This disagreement split the group into two camps. Johnny and Ralph teamed up and continued recording music as a duo, while the other four formed their own group called RBRM, an acronym for Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike. They recorded and toured under that name for a while, But unfortunately, neither side really found the same level of success on their own. Fans didn't just want pieces of New Edition, they wanted the full picture. For over 4 decades, New Edition had been all about love, music, and togetherness, and people wanted to see all 6 back on stage as one family. Finally, after years of tension, the members sat down, worked through their issues, and found a solution. Mike Bivins later shared on Instagram that everyone had signed the paperwork to become equal owners of the New Edition trademark. That meant no more power struggles. Every member now had an equal share of the name and the legacy. Fans were thrilled to see the guys patch things up, because nothing beats watching your favorite group reunited and stronger than ever. Over the years, New Edition found ways to stay connected with the music scene. They even appeared on the UPN reality show, Are You the Girl? Alongside TLC members Tian T-Boz Watkins and Rosonda Chili. Thomas helping to judge finalists. The show featured some fun group performances, and at one point, the finalists even got the chance to open for a New Edition concert. During that episode, Watkins and Thomas revealed something interesting. Michael Bivins had actually inspired Lisa Left Eye Lopes' famous nickname back in TLC's early days. In 2005, New Edition performed at BT's 25th anniversary special, where Bobby Brown rejoined them on stage for their classic hit, Mr. Telephone Man. He even performed his solo hit, My Prerogative, and that moment marked a turning point. Bobby officially announced he was coming back to the group. By August 2006, New Edition filmed a full concert in South Carolina for a DVD release, and Bobby was right there with them. But just 2 years later, the group, without Bobby, linked up with New Kids on the Block to record the song Full Service. Around the same time, Bobby Brown, Ralph Tresvant, and Johnny Gill formed a side project called Heads of State, inspired by the famous Rat Pack nickname. They hit the road together from late 2008 to early 2011, touring and performing their biggest hits.
Please give it up for Bobby Brown, Johnny Gill, and Ralph Tresvant, the Heads of State.
Meanwhile, the whole group continued to pay respect to their influences. At the BET Awards, they honored Michael Jackson with a moving tribute, performing Jackson 5 classics like ABC and I Want You Back. Later that year, Johnny Gill and Ricky Bell joined New Kids on the Block again for a special charity show in Boston. New Edition also made moves behind the scenes, signing with powerhouse manager Irving Azoff and joining Geffen Records to prepare for what fans hoped would be a big comeback album. Then, on July 3, 2011, they reunited on stage at the Essence Music Festival to celebrate their 30th anniversary. Ricky Bell promised fans that there would be more tours, more music, and more surprises. For many, it felt like the start of a brand new chapter.
Ladies and gentlemen, they are not an old edition.
But even during their high points, challenges kept coming. Bobby Brown missed some tour dates following the tragic death of his ex-wife, Whitney Houston. Still, the group carried on and even made history by performing in Nigeria, their first ever trip to Africa. Later that same year, they were honored with the Lifetime Achievement Award at the Soul Train Awards, a recognition that cemented their status as legends. In 2017, BET aired a 3-part miniseries called The New Edition Story, which told the group's journey in detail, from 5 kids in Boston singing for spare change to becoming one of the greatest R&B groups of all time. The series gave fans a new level of appreciation for their struggles their triumphs, and their brotherhood. The New Edition miniseries was a huge hit with over 28 million viewers. By 2021, the group signed with Creative Artists Agency, announced new projects, and planned a Vegas residency and nationwide tour. They returned to the AMAs with New Kids on the Block and launched the Culture Tour across 30 cities. Its success led to the Legacy Tour in 2023, covering 31 cities, and another Vegas residency set for January 2024. Over the years, New Edition has racked up plenty of awards for their contributions to music. Back in 1987 and again in 1997, they won the American Music Award for Favorite Soul, R&B Band, Duo, or Group. Their fans have always loved their style, keeping them one of the most admired groups for decades. They also took home a Soul Train Award for their classic album Heartbreak, and later in 1997, another one for Home Again. Both albums were huge and proved the group's talent and dedication. In 2012, New Edition received the Soul Train Lifetime Achievement Award. 5 years later, they earned a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
600th star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And this star is going to New Edition.
Their honors kept coming with inductions into the Black Music and Entertainment Walk of Fame in 2022 and the National R&B Hall of Fame in 2023. These achievements prove New Edition's lasting impact and why fans still celebrate their legacy.